Welcome to Bonano TV. I am Dr. Tobias Mutale. I haven't been on the channel for quite some time now, but I am back once again, and you are welcome once again. And if you are not yet subscribed to Bonano TV, you better do so. We are on YouTube as well as Facebook. So please do subscribe, and if possible, watch us whenever we are online, whenever we are broadcasting. So welcome. Today I want to speak about a few things in our beloved country, in our beloved mother country, Zambia. Of late, as you may have heard or seen, a few things are happening in our country, and we see that there are patches of political violence here and there. We have seen the shortage of Mealie meal, and also we see that there are still roads that are looking very bad. So I just want to speak about those three items and see how maybe we can advise those that are looking after us, the politicians and the government, to make sure that they focus on these issues and try to find a solution to these things, because eventually that is what must be done. You have heard of late that where there are by-elections in Zambia, and the recent one being in Serenge, that there have been portions of political violence there, where some members of the Socialist Party were actually attacked. It is said that they were attacked by the UPND cadres, but the UPND also are saying that they are not violent. Probably they were provoked. So I would like to maybe show a clip about that, and we take it from there.
Sunday, when the police issued a statement of your arrest, there have been different versions of the story. What really happened in Serenge on Sunday?
What happened in Serenge on Easter Saturday was very sad. My day started with a church service at the Catholic Church in Miririma. After the church service around 12:30 or so, we went to the camp house in Miririma. We had lunch and prepared for a meeting at 14 hours that was supposed to take place at Kamalamba Mother's Shelter, which was a designated area for the Socialist Party on that day, as per the ECZ campaign calendar or timetable. We got to Kamalamba Mother's Shelter around 14:30, between 14:30 and 15 hours. Immediately, we were just about to start to disembark from the vehicles, some 30 meters away from the main road, the Great North Road. Two vehicles carrying UPND cadres stopped and got out of two vehicles, started running towards where we are supposed to hold the meeting with sticks, stones, catapults. They started throwing stones, and they started beating people. People were scampering. And the leaders and others started shouting for people not to run away. Most of the women had actually run away. There was a big fight, which was frightening. I tried I couldn't see any way I could stop it. And it was becoming very, very fierce. I was still in the car and my bodyguard was standing by the door. I asked him to let me come out and fire a shot so that people can scamper and stop killing each other. Because we were going to have deaths both on the Socialist Party and the UPND side. It was a fierce fight. I've not seen anything like that in the few years I've been at the helm of the Socialist Party.
So you see what the leader of the Socialist Party is saying is clearly saying that he was attacked by the UPND cadres, or rather the UPND members there in Serenge. So we see that violence of that nature definitely is not wanted or is not needed, especially where there are elections, because elections cannot be free and fair if there is politics that have violence, or rather if there is violence where elections are taking place. So it's not a good thing, because violence can make elections not to be fair and free. But we apparently know that the UPND did not accept the fact that they were labeled to be violent. In fact, they say that it is not the UPND per se who started the violence, but the Socialist Party. In fact, the National Youth Chairperson of the UPND, Mr. Liswaniso, did refute that UPND is not a violent party. So let's listen from Mr. Liswaniso.
Take a small pocket fraction of misunderstanding to take that there's violence in the country. There's violence in UPND and Serenge. I think I won't agree with you in that one. Because you live together here. I've never heard such a thing here in Serenge. It is because I'm seeing PF members who were torturing us in the section of Serenge in every area. They're moving freely. They're walking freely. And they're eating with us. So for me, is to appeal to the opposition, especially the PF, that wherever there is a gathering, don't provoke. Those bad manners, ukutumpa, of 10 years ago, has to come to an end. We want to live in peace. I want to see the PF telling.
So there is Mr. Liswaniso saying that UPND is not a violent party, but in fact, they are provoked by other parties. He doesn't specifically speak about the Socialist Party, but he says he says that the PF are the ones that are still violent, and we see that they should not be they should not be doing the things that they did in the past, but should be able to challenge developmental issues instead of being violent. In fact, what Mr. Liswaniso is saying, in short, is saying that the UPND party is not a violent party. So you see what's happening here. Everybody is refusing to say they are not violent. The Socialist Party is saying they are not violent. The UPND is saying they are not violent. The PF probably also denies that they are not violent. But we see people who are dying. We see people who are shedding blood when there are political campaigns in the country. So we appeal to the leadership of our nation to make sure that this issue of violence is completely kept out, because if we do not curb this issue of violence, probably we are going back to those days when violence was the order of the day. Okay, thank you. I'll now move to the next topic of the day, which is about the shortage of Mealie meal in the nation, in the country, Zambia. I do believe that we shouldn't be at all be going into this situation whereby we do not have Mealie meal in the nation, because we have vast land as Zambia. We can plow, we can grow enough food for ourselves to be able to feed ourselves and even to feed our neighboring countries. But what is wrong? Because in my own opinion, the shortage of Mealie meal should not even be in our vocabulary. There should be enough food, not only for a short period, but for many years, so that even if there was a drought of 5 years, we should be able to have enough maize to sustain ourselves for that long period. Now we see that when just a few bags of maize are exported to other countries or our neighboring countries that are in need, we ourselves, we begin to struggle. It means there is terribly something wrong that we should be dealing with here. In fact, every Zambian should be a farmer. Every Zambian should grow food so that food is not an issue. Must we be fed by countries that are very far, like Ukraine and Russia? No, we should be able to grow our own food. Food should not be a problem in a nation that is able to sustain itself. If we cannot have enough food, then we cannot develop, because all we'll be thinking about is where the next meal is going to come from. All we'll be thinking about is how to feed ourselves. We should be beyond that and think about major things like putting satellites into the orbit or in the space. Those are the things that we should be concentrating on. Anyhow, let's hear from the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mutolo Piri. We hear what he says and how he explains this lack of maize in the country. He uses the word osmosis. It's a long time I heard osmosis when I was studying biology in the high school. So let's hear what Mr. Mutolo said, explaining the reason why we have less maize in the country.
Have inadequate maize stock. The only place they can get maize is in Zambia. The only place they can get Mealie meal is in Zambia. Now, people are getting angry with me and confused with me because on one hand, I always say, one, that the country has a policy of open borders for exports. Don't confuse this statement to mean that even when in your own house you have no sufficient stock, you are exporting. No, you restrict the exports. You stop the exports. But the overall policy is that Zambia has obtained open door policy for exports. Now, there is a lot of confusion on that, and people think that I am contradicting myself. I would like people to be calm and sober in analyzing what I say. Right now, we are not releasing export permits because our stock is just sufficient for our consumption up until we start getting the new harvest. So we don't want to sell everything. But immediately the situation improves, we will start allowing exports because that's our policy. So our maize is hemorrhaging out to other neighboring states.
Our maize is hemorrhaging to the other neighboring states. And he also says we have enough until the next crop comes, or rather the next crop is ready. I think he should be saying that we have enough crop, we have enough maize to in fact cater for us for the next 5 years or even 10 years. Just to say that we have enough maize to take us to the next season or to the next harvesting time is, for me, not a good answer. Also, the fact that we export a bit of maize, that shouldn't cause a crisis in our country. We should move to a stage whereby we have enough stock of maize in our sheds to lead us to be there for us to consume for many years to come. I don't know how long maize can be stored in a shed, but I think we should have enough maize for a number of years, and enough to export also, so that we can get some foreign exchange. It is good to sell, yes, but again, you can't sell when you do not have enough. Let's see how the residents of the Copper Belt are suffering. Please note that the clip may not have enough sound, but definitely you can see what's going on, that people are struggling because of the shortage of maize.
Mini meal prices are around 250 kwacha. The police had to be called in to restore order at the outlet, and one of the affected mini meal buyers has appealed to government to address the situation.
People are suffering. You government, I don't know what you are doing. You promise people to give them the lowest price of mini meal. Now the price of mini meal is 250 kwacha. Here it's 175. Now what are you doing, government? Look at these people. They are suffering. They are made their garden boys, but their salaries are too low. 500 kwacha. 500 kwacha. They are buying mini meal at 250, 175, and then their salaries are 500. Now, what are you going to help them?
So you see the situation there on the Copper Belt, that because of this shortage, there are lots of queues in those places or shops which still have a Mealie meal. And you can see that because of that shortage, the price has gone high. Because you know that in economics, when there's high demand of a commodity, obviously the price of that commodity shoots up. And this is what is happening in this case, because there is a shortage, there is high demand, and hence the price of Mealie meal is shooting up. So again, we appeal to the powers that be to try and quell this problem. And I see that in some areas, they are trying to resolve this issue already. They are taking maize from other districts or provinces to try and take to Copper Belt, so that they can quell this crisis and this shortage. Again, I just want to say this should not be happening at all. We must have foresight to be able to foresee these things and try to avoid them. Because as we see, people are taking advantage of the situation. They are smuggling the mealie meal to other countries, especially small scale sellers who are going across the country. But again, we cannot demonize those people who are trying to do business. In fact, I would say that they are clever. They see that maize or mealie meal is now fetching a lot of money. So they decide, in fact, to take advantage of the situation to sell their commodity at a higher price so that they can get better returns, better profit. Obviously, even myself, if I was a businessman, I would take advantage of the situation. They are selling to Congo the maize, maybe also to Malawi, not only the maize, but also the mealie meal, because it is fetching good money. So we mustn't demonize them. What we should allow is for Zambia to grow enough food so that it can sell to those other countries that are in need and bring more foreign exchange into the country. But obviously, this situation is understandable. You can see that the soldiers have been to Kasumbalesa to try and stop what they are terming illegal smuggling of mealie meal into Congo. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be sending borders. We shouldn't be sending police and soldiers to the borders, sorry, because people want to sell their maize or their mealie meal to other nations. So again, the powers that be, we call upon you to make sure that Zambia has bumper harvest in the years to come. How are we going to have bumper harvest? Is for the government to make sure that people have enough fertilizer in good time. Farmers must have their fertilizer throughout the year, not only towards the farming season. Farmers must have fertilizer throughout the year. But fertilizer that is very expensive, again, it does not help our nation. We must find a way to reduce the cost of these inputs, fertilizer and seeds. Because if every farmer can afford to buy fertilizer, can afford to have fertilizer in good time, probably their crop and their harvest will definitely be a good one. So government, please let us look at the issue of fertilizer and the cost of input. But also, the government must now begin to think about how to help, especially small-scale farmers, to use tractors. I remember growing up in the northern province, specifically in Mungwi. We used to plow, we used hoes to work in our field throughout our lives. We had no donkeys and we had no cows. We were everything. We were donkeys, we were cows, because there was no tractor in the entire community, in the entire Machemba village where I come from. There is no tractor, at least from the time of Chiluba and the presidents that came there afterwards. There were no tractors. During Kaunda time, our village used to have a tractor. And if you had money, you could hire the tractor to plow your field. But even then, most villagers could not afford to hire the tractor because the price for hiring the tractor was always high. So that is a challenge to you, the UPND government. How are you going to help the communities to secure tractors so that they can plow enough acreage to be able to grow enough food? This crisis should be seen as a wake-up call and not just something bad. It should be seen as a wake-up call so that we can begin to think on how to grow enough food in our nation. But also, we should not only wait for the rain season to grow food. Why can't we have dams? Why can't we have irrigation throughout the year? What are the extension officers doing? What is the Department of Agriculture doing? We have vast land and arable land where we can grow food in Zambia. And we can grow food throughout the year. We can grow maize throughout the year. We do not want to wait only for the rain season. This is why we are being plunged into such crisis. It's because we are not thinking enough here to be able to grow food throughout the year. So let us be proactive. Let us not wait for crises such as the one we have seen to befall us, then we start thinking. So that is one other issue that I wanted to speak about, the crisis of mealie meal in our nation, the crisis of less maize in our depots or in our shelters where we keep the maize. I think, as I've said, this should give us an opportunity to be able to think about the way we do things, especially in terms of agriculture and the way we do business, even with other nations. If other nations around us are in demand, we should take that as an advantage. We should have a comparative advantage in growing maize and to be able to sell to our neighbors that are in need. So I would say thank you for this crisis. It is an eye-opener, and we should be able to do better in the coming years. We don't want this to repeat itself. Thank you so much. Now, having spoken about this crisis of mealie meal, I want to jump still to the issue of bad roads in Zambia. Over the last 3 weeks or so, I was in Zambia and I visited the northern province. So I was on the Serenje Mpika Kasama Road, but I hear also that Mpika Nakonde Road is also in bad state. So what I experienced on that road was not something very good. First of all, the journey took very long because of the state of that Serenje Mpika Kasama Road. It is in a very bad condition. And perhaps for us to be able to see the picture that I'm trying to give you here, I'll show you another clip for you to see exactly what is going on that road.
People from one point to another. There are thousands of trucks on this road every day, some of them transporting fuel into the country from Tanzania. Yet the Serenje Mpika Road has seemingly received very little attention from the government despite its importance to the country. The truck drivers are fearing for their lives, saying the huge potholes that are slowly turning into ditches on this road are a danger to their lives, especially during the night.
ngama timuno kufuma pa mukushi kusafika pa mpika musobwera wabyonayika sana so tulekyula nga mwamona motoka eyo so hapa twaikala almost 1 week motoka teyalungama.
Because of the same road, you've been, as you can see from Munonga to here, this place is really in a bad condition. It's not the long distance from Serenje to Mpika, but because of the road condition, we're taking 4 hours driving. The distance that we're supposed to cover just within 2 hours and some minutes.
Some of the truck drivers are constantly stuck on the road because of breakdowns as they hit into huge potholes.
Ile tonawila sana emyotoka makamaka fwewa matraki ama ya bags ele pauka sana so hapa nyingi mimi almost 2 days ndero la spare part yako watu bandete omulando wako watu musebo naona ikaso hapa motoka yona ikira hapa bali bechingi chimwe chikuru sana chako watu ngafika ku motoka kilo abaslo sana mumbanja chimwene.
This truck has been stuck on the road for 3 days now because the driver hit into a pothole and something went wrong with this truck. So it has been stuck for 3 days now and there's nobody to actually bring them a spare part. The cry of these drivers is that they spend so much money to pay for the many toll gates that have been mounted along the road, but nothing is being done to maintain the roads, and they're concerned that they are not able to transport goods from one place to another in a good time because of this road, and they're calling on government to urgently do something about this road because they're also spending so much money on spare parts. For Crown TV News in Mpika.
So you can see the state of that road is very bad. And we are calling upon the government to start looking on that road. That road is a very important corridor. It goes right from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka. And it's a very important road and it will always be. So please, our government, we appeal to you once again that you look at that road. The condition of that road, it's no longer a road now, but it is something else. It is worse than a field that is being plowed. Because as you can see, in most parts of that road, it has completely turned into a field and trucks are getting stuck. Trucks are losing tires and other parts of their vehicles because of the state of that road. And now for one to be on that road, you have to take the whole day, 2 days. People move from Dar es Salaam to the Copper Belt or to Lusaka for weeks just because of that part of the road. So we appeal to our leadership, we appeal to our government to make sure that you look into that corridor, into that Serenje Mpika Kasama Road or Mpika to Nakonde Road. It is in a bad state. In fact, it paints a very bad picture on all those governments that have never done something on that road. But also we call upon all the MPs that come from that area. If you use those roads, honestly speaking, why are you not speaking about it to the president? Why are you not speaking about to the UPND government so that the road can be fixed? We thank the government, obviously, for saying that the Lusaka and Dora road will be fixed soon. We really thank the government for that. But we want you to also look at other roads within the nation. Not only the Serenje Mpika Kasama road, but also other roads in our nation. The roads going to the Western Province, going to Southern Province, going to Eastern Province, they must be good roads so that when people visiting us, as the local roads, as the local people are using those roads, we are able to use them without losing lives and without having to damage our vehicles as we travel on that road. So we appeal to you, our government, look after us as your citizens. We want to be proud Zambians because we have enough food. We want to be proud Zambians because our political systems and the way we do elections, there is no violence. We want to be more proud because we are peaceful people. And certainly we want to be more proud if our road network is excellent, so that when we see people coming from other nations, we know that we won't be shy to show them what we have, especially in terms of infrastructure, in terms of roads. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Please continue subscribing to Bonano TV. We are on both Facebook as well as YouTube. I am once again Tobias, and I'm leaving you to enjoy your day.